We are live.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's 9 o'clock, dude.
I'm just a minute behind.
So an hour was not enough time.
If I would have had these peppers already cleaned, then that would have been fine.
Right. So I'm going to put a little South Texas red. Sprinkle on top because we got to get going. This is the first batch they're going to cook while we do the others. I'll probably crank the heat up to cook them faster. Behind you on the other side. Alright. Let me pop these on. Slide the door down. Oh, Mama's coming.
Yeah. I figured you needed help.
Well, I can always use you if
That
you
means
want.
there will be some type of organization today.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, then, Mama, come on in if you would like to sit in the hole. Doesn't look like we have anybody in yet. Careful with the cords.
I'm trying.
All right. Morning, everybody. Cheers. Doesn't look like we got anybody in yet, but that's okay. So,
What kind of poppers are these?
these are going to be, oh, there's pickles. Rusty, I left it up to him, and I said, you got it, or do you want to do this? And he said, yeah, I'll take care of it. So, what do you got?
Today we're doing Philly cheesesteak stuffed jalapeno poppers wrapped in bacon with Uncle Steve's Texas Red Shake.
Nice. Now, I hope everybody caught the show Friday night. We had a blast. We really did. Uncle Steve was amazing. He was in there, and the winners got rewarded with a box of shake and sauce. So,
What's the name of that sauce?
the sauce was no name. While I'm doing this, I'm probably going to pull out little clips here and there of this live for my man Keto Mike. Wanted to kind of see what all goes into one of our live preps. So I've been shooting little clips here and there, talking about getting started and everything. And I mean, these live cooks, as they're finding out, the dude found out the other night that there's a lot of prep work in this. And, I come out about 8 o'clock to start the charcoal grill. And while I was filming, so I didn't have to do any prep work because my man already did it. Well, he had all the groceries. He had to do all the prep work when he got here.
Well, in my defense, I've been extremely busy since Thursday.
I know. It's one of those where just as you're preparing for somebody who hasn't done this to prepare for a live cook, it's a lot.
But Thursday night, I had to cook 435 pounds of barbecue for the local high school for their barbecue fundraiser. Friday, I spent all day at the high school helping them with the fundraiser. Then yesterday, one of my daughter's best friends since they were little kids in elementary school got married. So I had to drive 2 hours south to Anderson, South Carolina for the wedding. Congratulations, Hannah.
Congratulations.
And got home at 11 o'clock last night, and I was just exhausted, too tired to go. I got everything prepped except for, as I'm doing now while we're talking, getting these jalapenos seeded.
Yeah, I'm just giving static, but
I'm used to it.
In the interest of the people that were looking at doing a live cook, there's a lot to it. Prep work, all that. So But anyway,
prep work and time management is very important.
yes.
'Cause I really thought that an hour would have been plenty enough time for me to go ahead and cook all the meat and get the stuffing and stuff finished and go ahead and seed the peppers. I really thought I had enough time. I should have been here about 7:15.
Yeah.
I didn't think you'd be up, so.
Well, I was up. But there's when you come in, it's like game time. Got to go. So, but anyway, so that's what we're doing. So you've got a cheesesteak style popper.
Yep. I got sliced ribeye, and usually whenever I do the cheesesteaks, I don't call them Philly cheesesteaks because I don't do them Philly style. I just call them cheesesteaks. And I usually put bell pepper and onions in mine because the vessel is an actual pepper. I didn't do bell peppers in my mixture this morning. All I did was just the Vidalia onions. And
Okay.
I've got another seasoning that I use that everybody can get at Walmart for $5. You want to show it to the camera for me? It's an actual
I'll cover
cheesesteak
I'll cover
seasoning
up the name. Y'all can see this.
by a stone company, and it's just a really, really delicious seasoning for your cheesesteaks.
Yeah, it's not an Uncle Steve's stone seasoning, cheesesteak seasoning. Anyway,
Pickle
Well-
said, how long do you spend in the makeup chair before a live?
The stylist was leaving as I pulled up.
0.5 minutes.
wrong. At least 1 cup of coffee. 1 cup of coffee is my stylist, my friend. That's what gets me up and gets me going. So yeah, you had your band cook.
It went really, really well. I made 48 butts for them, 435 pounds.
Yeah.
And they almost sold out. We had 3 butts left at the end of the day, which is that's a really good turnout for a band with only 53 kids in it. They didn't have the luxury of all the people whenever Tommy was into high school. And I mean, it's going into the band is going to a rebuilding phase because all the upperclassmen have graduated, and the middle school that feeds the high school band, luckily the band director in the high school's wife just became the band director at the middle school. So she is heavily working on feeding the program.
Yeah, recruiting.
And so in the next couple years, they're going to be back up to 100, 150 people strong easy.
Now this is, so I've helped out years ago, and we were doing 1,400 pounds.
Right.
And
whenever Tommy started the band in 2015,
the 2020 happened. We'll just say it that way. 2020 happened, and that stopped all events, festivities,
Right.
and whatever. So now we're trying
they're
to.
rebuilding it.
Was it 2 years ago you started back?
Yeah.
So end of 21.
But when Tommy started in 2015, they were doing 300 pounds of barbecue. I took over the barbecue for them because I let them know what I did. And by the time Tommy graduated in 2019, we were up to selling 1,500 pounds.
Yeah.
Then 2020, whenever the COVID stuff happened,
The C word.
they
Scotty's Backyard Barbecue.
they were no longer allowed to have the fundraiser, and so they went 2 years without it. And so by the time the third year rolled around, it was time to do it again, and they were allowed to. They weren't ready to jump into doing 1,500 pounds again because they'd been gone 2 years without any advertising, any more sales, and they didn't want to risk having hundreds and hundreds of pounds to waste.
Right.
So they started off really slow, and we're up to 500 now. And I told James, the band director, as long as I'm able to, that I will always cook the barbecue for the band. And so I said, all you do is, I'm not telling you how much to order. I'm not president of the club anymore. So I said, you just tell me how much you want me to cook, and I'll make it happen. So all the amounts are all totally out of my hands now. I sure don't want to be responsible for ordering 1,000 pounds and them only selling 500,
Right.
and there's 500 pounds of waste on my hands.
Right. Now in years past, you always had the big cooker, and we always, cobbled together whatever we could.
Right.
But the last couple of years, they've since you sold your big cooker, and they've went ahead and rented.
I'm gonna go rent these.
A Southern Pride.
Beautiful machine.
So, let me get the door for you because you got peppers on your hands.
Yeah, we don't want to spread that.
Yeah. So they rented a Southern Pride, and that is just. I mean, if you saw the video I posted last night, it's a beautiful machine. I would say well worth $20,000.
I would not say well worth $20,000.
That's a lot, but it's a beautiful machine. I fell in love with one years and years and years ago when I was about 2 years into barbecuing. I got to see one and fell in love with it. And I know my man Kerry's not watching, but when he had one, man, that was my dream cooker. And he had his modified to where he could pull the rotisserie out and put in a whole hog spit. So, but anyway, what you got, baby?
Nothing.
So I brought it up.
Is the Southern Pride fan controlled?
Yes. So it does have a fan on it. It has a small firebox, and it's all insulated. And you basically get started, and it's propane assist. So the propane makes sure that you don't ever lose fire. And I mean, you might go through 4 splits of wood during a 12-hour cook. It's so efficient, and it has a fan on it. Comes in, circulates your hair. It's just a beautiful machine. But I went over and shot a little video on that, looking at the cooker and the butts and whatnot. And then Saturday we went, my buddy Brian come over, and we went over and got some
No,
plates.
Saturday.
Friday. Yeah, it was Friday. My days. So we went over and got some plates, and we did a little video on that. You all probably saw that, or you will see it. But let's talk about what happened with us. He's like a bull in a china shop.
I don't know what's going on in there.
I think he just, it sounded like he had something going on in the bathroom because it's right here.
I bet he hit that shelf.
Probably.
I'm going to redo that room, I think.
But
anyway.
So let's talk about what happened to us Saturday.
Yeah.
So there was
Nothing
some
bad.
No. There were some emotions, but so this year, you guys know I was a part of the swim team. They asked me to come back and help assist the coach. And basically what I told the coach was, you handle all the technical stuff, I'll take the kids. You got any kid drama? I got it. You got any trouble with them? I got it. You just handle all the technical stuff. And it worked really well.
You guys are a good team.
And the kids all reacted really well to that. So, but did you destroy the bathroom?
No, it didn't destroy it.
Well, it sounded like you was coming through the wall. Anyway, we had for the majority of the team was the last event. They had the regional swim meet. There's a handful that are going to state in a couple weeks.
Yeah, about
next week.
what, 5?
Yeah.
5 of the boys.
So 5 of the boys are going to state because of relays. We got 3 relays.
One he is a phenom. He is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm calling it. I've called it for a couple years now. He will be in the Olympics. I can feel it in my bones.
He's going through training for the Olympics.
Yes. He will make it. He will be amazing, and we will cheer him on.
That is awesome.
In all of our glory. I think his brother could.
Yeah. And he's only 12.
Yeah. He's fast.
But we were at the regional swim meet, and I'm just speechless. I mean, afterwards we were done, and I couldn't even shoot a little face-to-face vlog because I was blown away. these kids, it was their last time out, and they gave it what they had. And,
we knew it was going to be good when the first two races, the first two heats, the boys and the girls, they each dropped 20 seconds in their relay.
yes.
Like, you knew it was going to be a good day.
So all of our girls, well, everybody who dropped time, which is amazing, but they dropped more time than what they expected.
Like, it wasn't like tenths of a second, or hundredths. It
we're
was
talking 5
2,
seconds.
3, 6, 8, 20 seconds. It was
ones
beautiful.
who didn't drop time were within a second or two of their normal time. So,
or their best.
Yeah, so that was still amazing. My one little man, I couldn't hug this guy tighter. I mean, last weekend, he had told me he wanted a certain time in his 100 butterfly. And I said, all right.
Okay, real fast, what are we doing? And then you can keep going.
Oh.
I am now stuffing the peppers and wrapping them with the bacon and putting them in the pan so we can sprinkle them with some Uncle Steve's to get this load on the smoker.
And what all's in the mixture? I know you didn't use
the mixture is
peppers, but
right. I did not use bell peppers. This is thinly sliced ribeye steak and Vidalia onions, and as the them put together, and I use the odd colored brand name Philly cheesesteak or cheesesteak seasoning, and that's all it is.
Is there any cheese?
Oh, I am. How did I miss the cheese? Thank you. That's why you're here. I do have Munster cheese inside this mixture.
Okay, I was like, it can't be a cheesesteak if there's no cheese.
Yeah, we don't want the city of Philadelphia coming after us, guys. We can't call it that.
No. Okay, so now we know what you're doing.
We're just gonna call it the rusty cheesesteak. So my man, I wrote on his time on his hand right here, and he said, "What's that for?" I said, "That's what you said you wanted." He beat that time by a second. So that meant last week he dropped 3 seconds. Blew himself away. He couldn't believe it. Because while he's doing butterfly, you're coming around and it's right there in front of you. So as you're coming around, he's seeing it. And so it gave you more motivation to get there. So he was getting ready to go off. He was like the third heat to go off. And I said, "Dude, are you ready?" He's like, "Yeah." And he's a little,
he's not that little, but he is
short
probably 5 foot tall.
Yeah, little guy, heart bigger than I am. I mean, it's amazing.
Always smiling, super cool kid.
And I said, "You got your time in your head?" And he goes, "I got it." He had wrote it here, and I was going to write 1 second lower than where he was at. He had wrote 5 seconds lower. No. Yeah. And no, he wrote 1 second.
He wrote 1 second lower.
He wrote 1 second lower, and after he got done, I mean, it was amazing. Amazing swim for this kid. He dropped 5 seconds. So in 100 butterfly, he got a minute 38 and some change.
Yeah.
And I mean, as he's walking around, the team's patting him on the back and high-fiving him, and he's glowing.
He is beaming.
Just glowing. And I'm like, "Dude," gave him a high five and big hug. And then his mama's like following him. And she's just like, "Come on, will you stop? Will you stop?" And finally I said, I called him by name and I said, "Stop. Turn around and hug your mama and take a selfie," because she had her camera out, and he stops to take a selfie. And I said, "Now show her your time because you blew that out of the water."
But there are so many. Like, it's going to be interesting if we would get invited back next year. And I don't know if we are, and I don't know, we haven't talked about it. But the majority of this team, they're going to be like freshmen. 8th graders and freshmen.
Yeah.
And to take that age of a team when you're competing against teams that have tryouts and do all the things, to build the importance of teamwork, to build the importance of doing your personal best, to build the importance of your goals and your plans, and giving them that control. they're going to be awesome.
Yep. And these kids, my one senior guy who comments on my videos now, he's like, I'm your biggest supporter, but he never comments. And so I kind of teased him about it. And now he's commenting, but he knows who he is. He surprised himself. So for the relays, you take your 4 and then you have an alternate in case somebody gets sick or pulls a muscle, whatever, you don't want anything bad to happen, but something happens, right? So I wanted him to go because he's a senior. But the performance and practice and stuff kind of made me go, does he deserve it? But he's a senior. But these other kids, I mean, they give everything during practice and they deserve to go. I said, you know what? Y'all get on the line. We got them up on the blocks, and they were asking why. I said, just do it.
Mike's Keto Journey.
What's up, Mike? I'm shooting your video.
I'm helping.
And I didn't tell him why. I just said, just give me your absolute best. I want nothing left in the tank. And my man stepped up, swam his personal best.
Ever.
I've been around this kid for, 6-7 years?
6 years, I think.
He has
5 or 6 years.
He's never swam like this. And then, 2 days later, I had told him why I did that. And it made him feel good. Because I believed in the kid. I know he's got the potential. He just doesn't care. He's like, yeah, it's just social time for me, and I'm just here for the kicks. But
literally.
Right.
Yeah. He does have a hard time kicking though. But anyway, so I brag on him. Our one relay team that was seeded for state dropped 4 seconds.
Yeah.
And
As a team?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when we said, I said earlier there were teams that dropped 20. This team only dropped 4. They were ranked in the region at 17th in the whole region. They're fast, so the faster they are, the harder it is to drop.
Yeah. Y'all saw that.
Hey, Mandy.
Hi, cousin. So I'm going to put a little bit of South Texas red. This stuff's good.
It's very good.
At first, I was like, I don't know. And the more that I use it, the more I like it. I think thick meat and smoked bomb are my favorite, though.
And for those of y'all that don't know, I am visually impaired. And so when it comes time to sprinkling seasonings and stuff on, I usually let somebody else do it.
Yeah, because the last time I let you do it, you spent half a bottle.
I'm surprised he didn't go behind me and check the peppers after I cleaned them.
Oh, I was watching. So I'm prepared. I got some milk in the fridge over here. That's really for your coffee, but
I haven't had time to make it yet.
All right. So we got a little bit of time for this to soak in while the other ones are cooking.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was amazing. Those kids. I keep telling my wife and I keep telling the coach, because this is first time I'd ever met this coach. She's new and she's done an amazing job. And I told her, she was like, thanks for helping. I said, you don't understand. These kids have a special place in my heart. And I think she realized that because she was tearing up when they were all lining up to do their chant as a team for the last time for the season. We'll get them to do it during the banquet, but
I told 2 of the boys, I said, who I've loved to watch swim. I like to watch all of them swim, but these were 2 of the senior boys. And I said, guys, this is the last time I'm going to see you swim. And the one who's good friends with our daughter was like, Mom, stop talking.
Yeah.
And the other one was like, okay, you can't say that. And I was just, so I told them, like, at the end, I said, thank you. I said, I told them that, I'm an old person now. I said, I'm old, and you guys are giving me anxiety about this relay. So I need you to go in and do something. Okay. And then they went in and dropped 4 seconds, and they came back and they're like, there you go. It was just super cool. It was just super cool to watch them. And as busy as swim season is, because it is fast and it is fierce for about 8 weeks.
And it's crazy.
And then it's over. So I'm ready for it to be over.
Yep. So this week we got a couple practices scheduled for the state team that they. So I've decided not to go to the state competition. It
really wasn't. It was a logistical decision.
It's a tough decision, and I don't know how to say it, but it would mean a lot to me to go and see these kids go and compete and all that, but it would mean more to a parent of one of the kids to get in free, to get the back, to be on deck, to be
especially the one who I can honestly see. So if your boys aren't ranked in the top 3 or 4 in any event, it's going to be really hard to get a state time and to podium. Just because these kids are fast. And we have one that is ranked that way. So for his parents to be able to go watch and see.
I'm trying not to get in the...
That would be really good.
There you go.
And then when we get ready, we'll switch back.
Yeah, okay. So that would be good. But it should be live streamed, so we can at least watch it on live stream.
Yeah, so that was a tough decision, but logistically, it's in the Columbia, which is a little bit too busy of an area for me to drive. So it's like a Monday afternoon, so she can't go. And it's just, so I'm going to bless my spot to a parent that's got a kid that has a skin in the game.
Yeah.
And I'll be proud of them. I mean, the one young lady, she picked up breaststroke this year and really, 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 really worked on it. And she's only been with us 2 years.
The senior?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she started doing a little bit last year, but then didn't do anything during the off season and nailed it this year.
She's great. So.
But anyway.
That's our swim story.
I could brag on them kids all day long.
Oh yeah.
And they're good kids. It's funny when you
love you guys.
If you're not if you've never been involved in the swim program, it doesn't work like any other sport in the world. Like
our swim program doesn't work like any other program.
Well, yes,
because
high school swim typically in this area.
Because we don't focus on the team scores and
That's not
winning.
even where I was going.
Oh, my focus isn't on winning every meet, and like if you're not first, you're last.
Right.
I don't take that mentality. I want personal bests. I want the best out of them. I want camaraderie.
Well, what I was getting at is parents drive the swim program.
Yes.
You volunteer for everything. If you don't volunteer, there is no meet.
Yep.
You provide everything. You provide the uniforms. You provide the t-shirts. You provide the hats. You provide the goggles. You provide the snacks. You provide. And in the last couple of years, the school started helping more. But for the first 10 years we were involved, or first 9 years, we did all of that. We drove them to the meets. There were no buses. There were no, you just didn't have that. So you get close with parents, you get close with the kids because you're down there with them in the deep of it.
So what was funny was, I say funny, but not like, oh, that was hilarious, but like, oh, that was cool, funny, was they had computer trouble right off the get.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get the scoreboard and the laptop all to work. It was a huge mess. So they're just playing music and letting it blare, and everybody's doing their thing. And some of the kids are dancing. Well, they threw on the YMCA, which is, I mean, we were at the Y, in Fort Mill. So they play that. Well, you get some of I'm at the end of the lane where they do the flip turns, and then the blocks are at the other end. And I'm watching, and all these kids are starting to dance, and they're doing the YMCA. Mm-hmm. Well, then you look behind me because you start seeing them point. The parents behind me, because I had
our team parents.
Our team parents were doing the YMCA back to them. So every time it would come up in the chorus, they would do it.
Right.
The kids would do it. Then the parents would do it. And then you start seeing the officials, who are swim parents also. The officials come in and they're doing it with the parents. So it was just all the way around, just fun.
There were a lot of moments of fun. But anyway, that's our swim thing. I'm sure when we have banquet, we'll discuss again. But anyway, get next.
Oh, let's see. What else we do?
I got new shoes.
Oh, yeah. I took Mama to get some new shoes.
Okay, so.
But there's a reason. It's not just because she wanted new shoes, but we came up with a challenge. I think I told you all before, or last week, but talk about our new challenge.
We're going to do the Christmasville 5K. I am training so I can run part of it. I am not a runner, but I want to be a runner. I hear there's like a lot of endorphins in running, and frankly, I kind of need those. So I'm going to train to run. I did my first train yesterday. I ran about 9 minutes, not consecutively, but that's more than I've ran for a while. But so I needed new shoes. So Lee's going to walk the 5K. I think we got a few friends who have verbalized that they would do it with us, but they're not running.
Yeah, they asked about walking, and I was like, yes, but I'm not pulling you in a wagon. Well, I walk. That doesn't count.
So I had to get new shoes. And you're lucky, in a sense, that I am not like a high-maintenance person. I don't need fancy purses. I'm not a huge fancy jewelry person. I'm not a fancy shoe collection person, unless it's my tennis shoes. And I walked into the store and I crossed and I said, "Oh, those are some pretty shoes." And Lee goes, "Well, get them." I said, "I cannot get them. These are not running shoes." And he's like, "But you like them." So he pulled them up and he's like, "You can have more than one pair of shoes." Yeah, he said, "These are really expensive." He said, "Well, if you don't get, it depends on what other shoes you get then. Make a budget in your head. And if you can get 2 pair for that price, great." So he's carrying around these beautiful shoes. And I went and tried on all the running shoes. And I knew the running shoes I wanted. And I tried to like the cheaper ones, and I did not. So I got a more expensive running shoe. So I said, I cannot get the pretty shoe today. However, if you would like to buy me the pretty shoe on another day, feel free. So I got pretty shoes. But I got running shoes. And they're hot pink. All the shoes for about 3 years were blush colored. They're white or they're black. I don't like any of those. I like bright shoes. So I have pretty running shoes. And I took them out on their trial, their maiden voyage. They were fabulous. I get today off on the program and I run again tomorrow.
Yep. So
I told Teresa that y'all were planning on doing the 5K Pistonville. And then she said, well, why don't you go down there with Lee and you can go walking around the neighborhood with him and do a little bit of stuff with him, and you can help keep him accountable, and he can help keep you accountable, and you can go out trying to lose weight and try and get ready, and you can walk the 5K too. And I said, it sounds good in theory. I said, but I don't know about getting my fat butt up and going down there and holding him accountable when I'm probably not going to be the one that wants to do it.
Well, so now that I have this attainable goal to do this 5K, and when we were at the oncologist the other day, my blood work come back. Everything was great. The blood work was fine. No issues. The A1C was high. It had went up since the last time I was there.
Pickles, I would love neon green, but I can't find neon green. My very favorite pair were like neon yellow and hot pink, and they don't make any like that anymore.
Yep.
If you find them, send them to Lee.
So the A1C had gone up since the trip to the family doctor 4 weeks ago. So I was like, whoa, that was a kick in the gut. And so this is getting me back on track with.
Well, it's
So
cardiologist
yeah,
wants
the
to improve
cardio.
your health, your heart function.
So this week coming up, we have what do they call that?
Endocrinology
Endo,
and
yeah.
rheumatology.
And that's going to talk about, the rheumatology is like the
Joint
possible
pain,
joint
the
pain and
lupus.
stuff, which I've had a lot of in my knees the last couple weeks.
You have.
But it comes and goes, so I don't know
It could be diet related. It could be stress related. It could be
anything.
arthritis building. And contrary to popular belief, if you have arthritis, please start moving your joints because it increases the synovial fluid in your joint, makes your joints a little healthier. Anyway, don't stop moving if you have arthritis. PSA.
That's your advice for $9.99 a month. You can get more.
Ooh, for $9.99 a month, I will call and give you a piece of advice every day. Well, that's kind of cheap. So once a week. But if you want to up that too,
yeah. I don't have the subscription levels to where you pay so much a month and you get extra content.
I take Venmo. You can just Venmo me a tip for the day. Like it's fine. I have lots of knowledge up there.
I got some really good news about Tommy. Y'all know the problem he's been having with his feet for years.
Walking? I'm kidding.
He's never had a primary care physician. When he turned 18 and lost his pediatrician, we're the kind of family, we don't go to the doctor I do because my diabetes and Teresa does, but we just never been the kind of people to go regularly to the doctor just to go. We usually go to the doctor when something is wrong. So Tommy, since he turned 18, he's 22 now, he's never been to the doctor because he hasn't been sick or hurting or anything other than his feet. And so I told him, look, we've exhausted every avenue we can think of. You need to get a primary care physician, explain to him what's going on so he can be in charge of your plan to see what we can do to get this finally taken care of. He got his own primary care physician, had his first appointment. He was going over everything with Tommy, and he said, well, you've had all these podiatrists and chiropractors for 4 years now, and everybody has been looking at your feet, working on your feet, giving you, I had paid $1,500 for arch supports. I mean, and the doctor said, look, if you've got all these doctors working on your feet for 4 years and nothing is working, maybe your problem is not your feet. And he said, no, we need to look into something neurological. And he said, I'm going to send you to the Spine something institute. It's on Cherry Road.
Yep.
And went over. So Tommy had his appointment over there. We went there last week. This doctor there said the same thing. He looked at his feet. He said, I'm just going to look at your feet. He said, I just want to make sure I don't see anything funny. He said, but if you've had doctors on your feet for 4 years, I don't need to touch your feet. He said, there's something going on somewhere else. Put him in the x-ray room, took x-rays of his back. L7, something L5, L7, whatever the last vertebrae is. He took a picture of it, and it was
like right in here.
Nope, it's
right,
lower.
right down there.
It's lower.
It was right above his.
It's right above the sacrum.
Yeah,
it's
right
above
above
your
the
butt
sacrum.
bone.
And
right there.
It was all fuzzy and stuff inside the image. And he told Tommy, he said, you are too young to have a degenerative disc. He said, but that's exactly what this looks like. And he went and took another x-ray. And he said, look, we need to do an MRI on your back. But insurance won't cover an MRI unless you've had 6 months or 6 weeks of therapy or treatment from a chiropractor or something in the last 6 months.
Uh-huh.
Well, his last thing with the doctor, with the chiropractor, was October of last year. So it's been a year. And so the doctor said, in order for us to check off this box for insurance, I'm going to put you on physical therapy starting Monday. So tomorrow is his first visit. He said, you got to go to 6 weeks of physical therapy. Then I can take the MRI and run for your insurance. If not, that's going to cost me $1,100.
Yep.
But he said, we'll do this to check off the insurance requirement. I can get your MRI and we can look and see. His sacrum, apparently you might know this, but there's apparently a slot on the left and on the right side, something in your hip joint or whatever. Anyway, Tommy doesn't have those two separations. He's got one solid bone all the way across. He said it's not uncommon. He said, but it's not normal. He said, I'm not trying to tell you, this is a problem. It's just abnormal. And so he said the MRI is going to tell us a whole lot more about what's going on. But apparently something is definitely wrong with his lower back. And he said, like he said, you're 22 years old. You were too young to have a degenerative disc. He said, but that's exactly what this looks like on the X-ray. We won't be able to tell more until the MRI.
I like Fast Spine Center. That's who did your neck.
Yeah.
They're really nice.
So
really good.
long story short.
He's a pain in the ass.
Well, I was going to go with the Surgeon General was right back in the 70s when they put it on top of the cigarette cartons that may cause birth defects.
Lee, you are wrong. You should put yourself in timeout right now.
But it's okay. I've never been a smoker, so I know that's not the
It's
problem.
not you. You smoking wouldn't be the problem.
It would be Teresa smoking.
And that never happened. She can't inhale.
That's
Stop!
enough.
Stop! Time out! We're going sideways. PG.
She's related to
So-
Bill Clinton.
Okay,
PG.
here is a story for you all. You knew that I was going kayaking last week. And I have fun going kayaking. I love to kayak. Well, me and Aaron took out Aaron's kayak.
Oh yeah.
And everything was going smoothly. And we're in her area has a lake that you have to go to if you live there because she's fancy like that. So we went there. And we are out rowing and everything's good. And we're just sitting and talking and fixing the world's problems. And, we're discussing everything. And then we're like, oh, let's go row over there. So we rowed over there. And as we rowed over there, we realized that our butts are getting a little wet. Like, I know I was splashing. She was splashing. It was just the way it was. There were boats on the water. There were jet skis.
Morning, Terry.
It was messy. So we got over to the other side of the lake, and we were talking about the houses and what it would be like to live in the houses and how you would decide like that much money was worth paying a mortgage. We were talking, and she's like, does it feel like you're getting more water? I said, yeah, I feel like my legs are submerging in the water in our boat. So quickly as you can in a boat full of water, we're trying to get back to the shore. We get back to the shore. We're like, whew, we've made it. We flipped over the boat to look for a little leak. We were like, what the heck happened in our boat? Is there a hole? We forgot to put the plug in the boat. And we took in water from the beginning. We're like, look at us. We're adventure girls. That's all. We almost died. We didn't almost die. But then we thought our husbands are never going to let us do things by ourselves because this is like our third outing that we've had an issue. And we've made it. We've made it back every time. So now I know. Check the boat for the plug. And she did have a little hole in her boat. So we're going to have to take my little kayak out the next time because...
Little spritz with some Flex Seal. Cover up that little hole.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what her plan is. She will figure out her plan. But until then, we're going to be on my kayak probably. So we're just lucky I'm here. That's all I got. I could have lost it in the lake. So did they come out okay?
Well, that's what I'm trying to get to show y'all without standing in front of the camera. I know, Charlie, I'm trying to...
You're trying to make this more professional? Is it working?
No.
Just checking.
No, it's not. There we go. How's that look? Boom. Yeah, I like that one better. Oh, check out my cups in the back. Move to the side, Rusty. The other side. Hooray! Thank you to my in-laws.
Yeah.
Oh.
He sent plastic cups in the mail to you.
Yes. So, how's that, fellas?
Nice.
Mama approves. Oops. Okay. So I know you didn't think too far about plating. So I've got a little something.
Well, honestly, we would just put them all on like a platter, and you would just eat from the platter anyway. So
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, not for a thumbnail.
I know.
So that's what Mama said she wants.
I don't care how you do it. I was just saying that's how you would do it.
Yeah, so I'll just get a regular plate. I was going to do something fancy, but I think. Let's see. There's the dog. He thinks it's time. I tell you what, I mess with this tripod. I need to quit messing with it. There it is. That's what I want to see. So, slide. I should let these rest a little bit longer.
So what plans does anyone have today?
My 35-year high school reunion is this weekend. Friday night, as I graduated from Rock Hill High, 1988, we have their homecoming football game. So we're having a tailgate party and meet and greet and stuff at the football game. I've got to leave here, and I've got to go to Sam's Club, and I got to buy the burgers and hot dogs and buns and all the stuff because I'll be bringing my Blackstone to the stadium. The athletic director, Eric, is getting me an area roped off for us to have a tailgate party. And so I got to go get the stuff because I'm going to be cooking all the food and stuff for our tailgate party right before the football game. And we're all in our 50s now, and the amount of interest for the actual banquet and stuff like that just wasn't there this year. I've been on the reunion committee, since our very first one. And I've planned every reunion we've had. And we only had, I think, 7 people purchase tickets for our reunion banquet and everything. And we couldn't form a budget with just 7 people buying it. So we actually had to cancel the banquet. So the only function we are actually doing is the tailgate party football game Friday night. And after the game, we're going to Friendly Billiards for a meet and greet, eat and drink or whatever, and just to have a good time.
Hang out.
But I'll be going to Sam's Club whenever I leave here to get that stuff. I'm really looking forward to it.
Nice.
Now our last one, there are 30. I catered the whole entire thing. I did all the chicken, the pork, the I did green beans, did macaroni and cheese. I catered the whole entire thing just because it was cheaper for me to do it than it was to hire a caterer.
Right.
And so it was a really good time. But I really hate that we're losing the interest now as we're getting older and people are not. I understand, lives change. You're in your 50s. You've got grandkids that you're working with, and things change. But I really do wish.
Charlie just told me what shoes. I'm looking them up right this moment.
Okay. Get your phone.
Yes, sir.
Mine's still. Who you guys think of those?
My personal opinion, but we don't have time. We needed this for this, but the bacon needs to be a little bit more done. Camera.
Ooh, not me.
Popperific.
You send those to me later. All right. Well, we are 10 minutes in. We'll let these cool down a little bit.
Ooh, those are really cute.
Uh-oh. So.
Those are real. Oh, honey. Oh, they're 20% off.
Oh, no. Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm going to have to go look for those. I mean, I have to give them a minute to recover from buying the ones I got.
Yeah.
But, tennis shoes are only good for, what is it, like 600 miles or something?
Under 6 months.
Yeah, but I think it's like so many miles. So if you're walking and you're a big runner, like doing marathons, they're only good for so many, and then you have to have a new pair of shoes.
And one of Teresa's best friends, Catherine, she's a counselor over at the school. Y'all probably know her.
Yeah.
She's a runner, and she always telling Teresa how she had to get her a new pair of shoes, and she said, "Well, you just got a new pair of shoes." Yeah, but I need a new pair of shoes every 3 months.
Yes.
So every 3 months, she'll spend $200, $300 on a pair of running shoes, and I'm like, wow.
Oh, 300 to 500 miles are your running shoes. That's it. They stop absorbing the shock after that.
My shoes, they last until I burn holes in them.
And no, they should not.